In this section, we're going to be going over how to beat the blitz. Now, I know this is a pain point for a lot of newer players, or even intermediate level players. Again, they're going to struggle versus the blitz. They're not always going to make the best reads versus the blitz. Um, so again, this is going to be an extremely important section because a lot of times it's not even the reads; it's the route combinations you're using to beat the blitz. You're not setting yourself up for success with the plays you call. So that's why you might even notice that you have trouble making reads. It's because it's more the play design and the spacing on your plays more than anything. So again, we're gonna brief introduction here and kind of in the beginner's manual we talked about how we utilize flat routes to the running back. Getting the ball out quickly, uh, getting the ball out quickly to the flats to attack the blitz. Again, that's one way. Again, another way is utilizing seam streaks. Again, we want to be where they're leaving. That's where we're throwing. So, and again, what I mean by that is we throw out where they're blitzing from. So, what I mean again, I say when they're blitzing that they're leaving, meaning that they're leaving their zones. So where they leave from, we throw it. And again, this outside linebacker who's blitzing here, he's leaving his hook zone here. So again, that's going to open up an opportunity to kind of quick fill this seam streak. So again, my two favorite routes versus the blitz are definitely, flat routes, whether it be to the tight end or the running back, and then seam streaks. So now we're going to kind of combine the two. So again, the reason I kind of started running trips head end and I was kind of a trendsetter for trips head end is I really love the spacing. So again, having the option to motion over my receiver and kind of being able to attack both seams really quickly is a reason why I loved it so much. And also, again, it has all the good routes. It has the post routes. It has the corner routes, as we talked about in the base plays. Again, we need those post routes and corner routes to be, successful on offense consistently. And trips head end has that, and it has the spacing. Whereas, if we just keep it like this and we don't motion over, again, um, it's gonna be kind of harder to fit in this tight end seam streak. But if we motion over, it's gonna pull out that outside corner. So watch here. When we motion over, the outside corner goes out, so it's gonna really open up an area for us to kind of throw that tight end seam streak. And again, I didn't blitz here, but this is one of my favorite concepts right here. Usually every year, because again, it gives me the option to beat the coverage quickly or beat the blitz quickly, as well as it's still a good play versus coverage as well. Because again, we have that post route over the middle of the field. Again, the post route's really effective in Madden every single year. And again, we're going to use the streaks to push back the deep blues. Again, we got our pull routes. So again, the streaks are acting as quick blitz speeders and pull routes at the same time. And again, we're going to have that outside drag. And so we're going to really have three good options here. So again, those seam routes are going to be vacant when they blitz. Again, we throw at where they're leaving. And if they're really blitzing heavy in the slot here, you can throw to this streak. If they're blitzing heavy in this slot over here, you can throw to this seam. And again, it's going to be good spacing as well. Again, it's going to be pretty hard to lurk in between both of these streaks. There's a good, I'd say maybe like 10 yards. I don't know how to measure this, but maybe like a good 10 yards in between them. But also, most importantly, is we have this running back wheel route out the backfield as well. And as we talked about, the flats, the running back wheels are really effective versus the blitz. So we're combining the two best elements together, the two best routes versus the blitz together. And we're still designing a play that's going to be really good versus coverage. That's the key to running a really effective 5-out offense is having these quick blitz speeders, being able to tell yourself pre-snap, like, okay, if he blitzes, I can hit this seam streak over here or this seam streak over there, and I'm still going to have a running back wheel. But if he's in coverage, I still have, a good route combination out here. I still have a post out here that can, beat any coverage or drag underneath. So, Again, double seam streaks in general, but I really like double seam streaks versus the blitz. On top of the running back wheel, um, is going to be a great combination to throw out there versus the blitz and even versus coverage defenses as well. Um, Also, another reason why I would really like a play like this is because of the outside drag. That's also going to be, a really effective concept versus the blitz. Say if they do something like this. And again, a great thing too is like avoiding the user. And the user's really not going to expect a route like this, or they're not really going to really think to run to a route like that. So again, we have 4 routes on the field that are capable of beating the blitz quickly, and they're all at different spots of the field. So again, that's really important is the spacing here. You got to ask yourself, okay, who are your main targets and what's the space between your main targets? Because again, we don't want routes to be running into each other. Then it's just going to be easy for the user to play, multiple routes at the same time, and we don't want that. Again, we want the user to feel like they have to commit to a route, and once they commit to the route, there's going to be another great option on the field, or another route that's kind of out of their vicinity, and they're not going to be able to recover to it. So again, we introduced the double seam streaks, the outside drag, the running back wheels and flats. Those are going to be your best friends versus the blitz. And again, and really throwing out where they're blitzing from. So again, and you can do this to either side too. That's what I love about trips is, you have the option of attacking either seam quickly. So you could also do something like this. This is another concept that I like. Again, we talked about the seam streaks, we talked about the running back flats, and we're really just combining all of these together now. So again, so here, we can always throw this drag really quickly on the outside, and we kind of even have like the running back flat as a pull route, kind of pulling out the cloud. And if they don't have any flat over there at all, we can just quick throw it to the wheel route. And the great part about this is the user really has to make a decision. And actually, I would even snap this drag a little bit earlier. Now that I think about it, do something like this. I'm just going to blitz everyone, for example. But so again, we always want to think about who our main targets are, what are quick options versus the blitz, and the spacing between our main targets. How many yards of distance are between our main targets. So again, here, it's going to be nearly impossible for a user to lurk, both a running back flat, and a tight end streak, plus the combination of a motion over drag. Again, this is my favorite concept in general versus the blitz. Again, we're going to talk about the triangle concept in the next section, but again, kind of look at what's forming here. And what's kind of forming here is kind of like a triangle, and that's what you want to formulate, because when you formulate this triangle, again, look at the space between each of our main targets on the field. Again, these are all quick pass options, and they're all running in the opposite direction. So again, if you're the user, how are you going to guard something like all these quick options when they're all running in, opposite directions of each other? They're all attacking different depths of the field, attacking different parts of the field as well. So again, this is why it's such my favorite concept versus the blitz, and even versus coverage in general, is again the user just has to do too much there. They have to pick their poison. They're not going to be able to run up the seam and guard a running back flat. They're not going to be able to run to the flat and get back to a seam streak. And they're not really going to be able to guard a flat route and a drag at the same time. And this is why I snap it right next to the tight end, just so the user just has to make a snap decision. Again, it's going to be really hard to bait, the running back flat and the drag, because as soon as I snap this next to the tight end, they're both going to be running in full speed at opposite directions. So again, if unless the guy has a user that's 300 speed, you're not going to be able to play this. Again, then it's just coming down to the execution and making the right read, because we're going to be spacing out the field properly. Again, there's going to be like 10 yards of space between our flat and the tight end. 10 yards of space between our drag and the tight end. Again, about 10 yards of space between all of our main targets here. And that's really the key is spacing out the user and having all these quick options to throw to. And that's really if you want to send 5 out. I would say I really like to send 5 out, because I always feel that if you're able to send 5 out at a high level every play, because again, the hardest thing is it's going to be really hard to play coverage with 5 people on a route, because think about it, it's just simple math. I mean, if they're sending out 3 in a route, it's going to be a lot easier to play coverage versus that than versus 5 receivers on a route. So again, I like to find combinations that can beat the blitz quickly, but it's still going to be coverage. And again, if we take a look at the setup as well, we're still going to be able to flood. Again, this will still be good versus coverage defense as well, because we're still going to be able to attack the silence, attack those cover 3s, cover 2s, cover 4s, because again, this play is going to act as a flood concept. So again, we're not using a flat here, but we're kind of using a drag to attack the 2v1 matchup on the sideline. So again here, think about it. So and how we were talking about in the beginner's menu, how people a lot of times will only dedicate one sideline defender on the outside. So like in a cover 2, a cover 3, cover 4. Think about it, they'll only have that one purple out there, or the one cover 4. And in case you missed, the beginner's manual, again, we'll kind of talk about that now. But again, think about it, how there's only one guy over here. So how do we attack this one guy? We utilize the 2v1 matchup. We isolate this sideline defender by running 2 receivers in his area at different depths. So again, and that's what we're doing on this concept here. And again, I know this is getting a little off topic and away from the beating the blitz topic here, but this is important because you got to be able to beat the blitz and coverage defense at the same time. So that way you're not really guessing, oh, is he going to blitz, or oh, is he going to play coverage? So again here, and basically what we're saying here is, okay, that guy has to make a decision. He has to come down and play the drag, or he has to stay up and play the corner out. And again, this is review from the beginner's manual, and we talked about this a lot more in the beginner's manual, but again, this is important for a route combo development course as well, because again, we want to be devising plays or creating plays that can take advantage of these 2v1 matchups. And again, I think this is a hook zone, but again, look at the purple zone defender though. Again, he kind of has to make a choice. Does he go with a corner route, or does he go with a drag? And so that's why we kind of utilize these flood concepts to attack these sidelines, is because again, we're preying on that one sideline defender with 2 receivers in that area. So let me do that again, and let me get that hook zone out of here just so you guys can see what this looks like. And again, I didn't want to snap it in there. Again, pay attention to the purple here on the sideline. Oh, it didn't let me snap it here, but as you just see, the purple here has to make a decision. He has to, because there's only one defender there. This is just basic math. It's a 2v1 matchup. He has to say, okay, there's 2 people running towards the sideline. I'm the only sideline defender. Which one do I pick? If he goes low, you go high. If he goes high, you go low, and that's all this is. And so what? Again, the purple here, all I was saying was, okay, we have the 2v1 matchup, and then it comes down to this guy's decision of whether he wants to go high or low. And again, once you see the guy drop down low, again, we know we're going to have the high option, because again, we're utilizing a pull route here with the streak, to send the deep blue deep. So he's going to be out of the play, and again, that's what's going to open up this corner route. And another play, you can do is, something like this. This would also be another one of my go-to plays. And again, guys, we're gonna go over this a lot more in like the gameplay, and you guys will get to see more examples of these route combinations. But again, just a kind of quick recap, because I know I rambled a little bit in this section. Is again, we want to utilize double seam streaks or just single seam streaks. These running back flats and wheel routes and outside drags, and also even like motion drags next to the tight end. Again, any short options we want to get involved. And again here, so what's kind of happening here is, since they got the cloud, and this little drag is kind of pulling the cloud in here, so that kind of makes it easier for him to play the flat. But again, you can kind of see how the space between Gronkowski, between our running back, between the drag. Again, that's really the key thing when you're sending 5 people out on a route, is being able to space out the user. And again, all of our quick targets are going to be attacking different depths and be at different directions. And again, they kind of form a triangle. They're all at different parts of the field. And also, we're still going to be able to beat coverage defense as well, because we're going to be utilizing a crossing route. Again, that's one of the main concepts we talked about in the base plays. And again, the essentials to consistently moving the ball on offense is utilizing these crossing routes and corner routes. So again, we're going to have a crossing route on here that's going to be really effective for us coverage defense, and we're still going to have a drag underneath. So even if they're in coverage defense, we're still going to have a good play in the field. And obviously, we're going to be able to beat the blitz quickly here. We're going to be able to beat them with either a quick seam streak, we can highball it even, or we're going to have this drag underneath as well. And again, it'll be easier to kind of see all of this kind of when we're in a game. And that's why I do go over a few gameplays so you guys can see this. But I will say versus cover 2 zone blitzes, I tend to stick more towards the the seams and the outside fades, or even outside drags. Again, cover 2, like we talked about, for coverage defense purposes, in the beginner's manual, we talked about how cover 2 is weak down the deep middle and the deep outsides. So again, it's kind of going to be the same thing here versus when they're sending cover 2 zone blitzes. So again, we want to get those seam streaks involved in the outside fades. So if you notice someone blitzing out of cover 2 a lot, I would even try to pick it up and really kind of attack the outside versus cover 2 or the deep middle. So I could do something like this. Again, we're kind of using B as a little pull route here. But again, versus cover 2 zone blitzes, again, you even have those outside fades in your pocket as well. So make sure to get that involved in your game. And again, we're kind of using the flat here to kind of hold this cloud. So if it's a soft squat, you'll notice that he kind of runs with the streak himself. But if we utilize a flat route over there, the soft squat's not going to follow. So here, I'll do it right here. And you see how that soft squat, again, we talked about this in the beginner's manual, but the soft squats, they will man up if there's no one else in their area to the outside receiver. But since we put a flat route at that part of the field, or run a flat route to this side of the field, again, the soft squat has to respect that. Again, the soft squat plays like a cloud. If there's 2 receivers in his area, he's not just gonna stay manned up. So let me show you guys without this flat route. So let's say if we just did something like this. Again, the soft squat now is not going to come down. So, again, versus cover 2, you really can take advantage of the sidelines, the deep outsides, you know, and just in general, the deep outsides are going to be really effective versus cover 2, whether they're blitzing or not. But versus just the blitz in general, again, double seam streaks, you know, running back flats, you know, getting those drags involved, whether it be from the outside receiver or, you know, even snapping them next to the tight end. That'll work. I was kind of go over more like cover 3 style zone blitzes. Again, the thing with cover 3 is, especially in this man, cover 3 zone blitzes or more the meta. Let me get this auto flip off. So, again, versus cover 3, there's only going to be really one seam open. So you got to be kind of paying attention to after every play where the safety is dropping at. So I really like to abuse these tight end high balls. So stuff like, do something like this. And again, I motion over so the outside corner moves out. And again, we know the safety is going to be dropping here on the left. Here, I think he was in a seam flat there, but let me see. Oh yeah, he was in a seam flat. So most people will have this guy in like a cloud or a purple. And kind of watch how he drops. Or he's going to drop towards the sideline. So we know we had that little vacant area here in the middle of the field. Because again, that safety's first responsibility is to guard that sideline. So once he pulls out, once he makes that play towards the sideline, that's when we can fit in this seam streak here. Again, there will be a small window for it. As soon as this safety kind of pulls towards the sideline, and you see we're kind of using this running back flat to pull him towards the sideline. And since we motioned over, you saw how that outside corner went all the way out. And that's kind of what opens up this tight end seam right here. And again, if you're the user, again, you're gonna have to kind of make a decision. You know, do you wanna come down on the drag, or do you want to hit this seam streak again? It's gonna be, and the user is gonna have to make a snap decision here because again, this drag is running at full speed all the way to the right side of the field while the tight end is running full speed down the seam. So again, it's going to be a really tough decision for the user here. Again, that's really all we can ask is spacing out the user. And again, this will be a lot easier to kind of see in the gameplay videos.